My beloved child, pause for one quiet moment. Do not rush past these words. There are thousands of voices competing for your attention every single day. Yet somehow, at this exact moment, you stopped here. That is worth noticing. Because sometimes the smallest pause becomes the beginning of the greatest turning point. Before this message reached your eyes, before you heard the very first sentence, before you even knew this moment existed, I already knew you would be here. I know the questions you never asked aloud. I know the conversations that stayed inside your heart because you believed no one would understand them. I know the smile you offered while carrying burdens nobody could see. And I know the silent exhaustion that follows a soul that has been strong for too long. Listen carefully. This is not about predicting your future. It is about awakening something inside you that has been quietly waiting to come alive. Because what happens after this message will not begin outside of you. It will begin within you. Long before circumstances change, long before doors open, long before anyone notices a difference, something invisible begins to move. That is how I often work. Seeds grow underground before fields become green. The sunrise begins while the horizon is still dark. A river is born from a spring hidden beneath the earth, and transformation often starts where no human eye can see. You have prayed for visible answers, yet I have been preparing an invisible foundation, because what is built deeply can stand when storms arrive. My child, many people spend their lives waiting for dramatic signs while overlooking the quiet miracles already unfolding around them. They expect thunder, yet I often begin with a whisper. They search for certainty, yet I first invite trust. They ask me to change their surroundings, while I begin by renewing the heart that will walk through those surroundings. That is why today matters. Not because these words possess power by themselves, but because a heart willing to listen creates room for truth to enter. Sometimes one thought, one sentence, one quiet realization changes the direction of an entire life. Do not underestimate small beginnings. A tiny flame can illuminate an enormous room. One seed can become a forest. One decision can rewrite generations. The world celebrates instant results, but heaven delights in faithful beginnings. Perhaps you've been asking, why hasn't anything changed? Why does it feel like I've been waiting so long? Why do I still feel stuck after praying again and again? Those are honest questions, and I am never offended by honest hearts. Even David cried out in confusion. Even Elijah became exhausted. Even Jeremiah questioned what he could not understand. Faith has never meant pretending everything is easy. Faith means choosing to keep walking even when the road disappears into the fog. My beloved child, there is something you rarely notice. Every season you survived changed you more than every season you celebrated. The difficult conversations, the unanswered prayers, the delayed opportunities, the unexpected endings, none of them arrived without purpose. You believed you were simply enduring them. I was quietly shaping you through them. Gold is refined where fire burns. A tree grows stronger where the wind resists it. A heart becomes compassionate after it has learned what pain feels like. Nothing has been wasted. Not one tear. Not one lonely night. Not one prayer whispered when your voice was barely strong enough to continue. I have seen them all. Sometimes you think I measure your life by achievements. I do not. I look at what the world cannot see. The choice to forgive when resentment would have been easier. The quiet act of kindness no one applauded. The prayer spoken for someone who never knew you were praying. The integrity you protected when compromise seemed profitable. These things echo throughout eternity. My child, you have been asking me to show you the next chapter. But before I reveal what comes next, I want you to recognize what I have already done within you. You are stronger than you were, wiser than you realize, more compassionate than before, less controlled by fear, more aware of what truly matters. Growth often feels invisible while it is happening. just as children never notice themselves becoming taller until someone points it out. Do not mistake quiet growth for no growth. Heaven measures progress differently than the world does. And today, I want to open your eyes to that difference. Because what happens after this message may surprise you. Not because everything around you suddenly becomes perfect, but because you begin seeing through new eyes. And once your vision changes, your decisions change, your peace changes, your courage changes, your relationships change. Your future begins changing one faithful step at a time. So remain with me. Do not hurry. The greatest part of this conversation has only just begun. My beloved child, there is one thing I have been patiently teaching you, even when you did not realize the lesson had already begun. Not every blessing arrives by adding something to your life. Sometimes my greatest gift comes through what I remove. You have prayed for peace, yet held tightly to the very things that kept disturbing your heart. You asked me for freedom, while continuing to carry burdens I never asked you to bear. You desired a new beginning, but kept looking behind you, hoping yesterday would somehow become tomorrow. Listen carefully. You cannot walk into a new season while living inside an old memory. The future cannot fully enter a heart that refuses to release what has already ended. That is why I have been gently loosening your grip, not to leave your hands empty, but so they can receive something greater. My child, many people mistake comfort for calling. They remain where everything feels familiar, believing safety means my approval. But I did not create you merely to stay comfortable. I created you to become complete. Growth often begins where comfort ends. Think about an eagle. It does not discover the strength of its wings while sitting safely inside the nest. It discovers flight only after leaving what once protected it. In the same way, some of the changes happening around you are not signs that your world is falling apart. They are signs that I am inviting you higher. Do not fear what feels unfamiliar. Fear only the life that never grows, because what remains unchanged eventually stops producing fruit. I am leading you beyond survival. I am teaching you how to truly live. There are dreams inside you that you quietly buried years ago. Dreams you stopped mentioning because disappointment became easier than hope. Every unanswered prayer slowly convinced you that silence meant no. But silence has never been my final answer. Sometimes I remain quiet because I am preparing circumstances your eyes cannot yet see. A farmer never pulls up the seed each morning just to check whether it is growing. He trusts the unseen process. I ask you to trust me the same way. Do not dig up your faith every time life becomes difficult. Leave it planted. Water it with prayer. Strengthen it with my word. Guard it with patience. And when the appointed season arrives, what was hidden will suddenly become visible. My child, I know you grow tired. There have been days when simply continuing forward required more courage than anyone realized. People saw your smile. I saw the battle behind it. People admired your strength. I saw the nights when you almost surrendered. People noticed your accomplishments. I noticed your quiet obedience when nobody was watching. Never believe unnoticed faithfulness is forgotten. Heaven remembers what earth overlooks. I do not reward performance. I reward faithfulness. The smallest act done with love carries eternal value. The prayer whispered before sunrise. The forgiveness nobody applauded. The kindness shown after disappointment. The decision to remain honest when compromise seemed easier. None of these have escaped my attention. Every act of obedience becomes another stone in the foundation I am building beneath your life. That foundation will carry blessings too heavy for shallow character. That is why I have spent more time shaping your heart than changing your circumstances. Circumstances come and go. Character remains. Blessings without wisdom disappear quickly, but wisdom transforms every blessing into lasting fruit. My beloved child, there are also voices you must learn to leave behind. Not every opinion deserves space inside your heart. Some people speak from fear. Others speak from jealousy. Some simply speak from wounds they have never allowed me to heal. Do not build your identity from voices that never heard my plans for you. The loudest voice is not always the truest one. Return to my presence. There your heart becomes quiet enough to recognize my direction. When my voice becomes greater than your fears, your decisions become clearer. When my promises become louder than your doubts, peace begins to return. You have asked me for certainty. Yet certainty is not always knowing every detail. True certainty is knowing the one who leads you. Even when the road bends, you can trust the guide. Even when tomorrow remains hidden, you can trust the shepherd. Even when answers seem delayed, you can trust the Father. And very soon, you will begin noticing something unexpected. Not one dramatic moment, but many quiet miracles. Peace where anxiety once ruled. Strength where exhaustion once lived. Wisdom replacing confusion. Hope returning without explanation. Doors opening without struggle. People appearing at exactly the right time. Opportunities arriving that no human effort could have created. You will recognize these moments not as coincidence, but as evidence that my hand has been moving long before your eyes could see it. So do not lose heart now. You are far closer to the answer than you realize. Remain faithful. Remain humble. Remain teachable. Because what happens after this moment will not merely surprise you. It will remind you that I have never stopped working on your behalf. My beloved child, there is a reason I brought you this far. It was never simply so you could survive another difficult season. I have been preparing you to become someone who carries hope into places where hope has almost disappeared. The greatest change I am bringing into your life is not around you. It is within you. Because when the heart changes, the future begins to change with it. Many people spend their lives waiting for perfect circumstances before they begin living. But I teach my children something different. Peace is not found after every storm ends. Peace is found when you discover that I remain with you inside the storm. The waves may still rise. The wind may still roar. Questions may still remain unanswered. Yet there is a place where fear cannot rule you anymore. That place is complete trust in me. I want to lead you there. Not for one day, but as a new way of living. My child, there have been moments when disappointment quietly convinced you that expecting too much would only lead to more pain. So without realizing it, you lowered your expectations. You stopped praying with confidence. You stopped dreaming with courage. You began protecting yourself from disappointment instead of preparing yourself for possibility. But I never asked you to build walls around your hope. I asked you to anchor your hope in me. There is a difference. Hope built on circumstances rises and falls every day. Hope built on my promises remains steady. That is why I am calling you to lift your eyes again. Not because everything has already changed, but because I have. And I never change. The same hand that carried you yesterday will carry you tomorrow. The same voice that comforted you in hidden places will guide you into open doors. The same love that sustained you in weakness will strengthen you for what comes next. Do not measure my faithfulness by temporary situations. Measure it by my unchanging character. I cannot deny who I am. My beloved child, you often ask me for bigger miracles. Yet sometimes the greatest miracle is becoming the person who is finally ready to receive them. I care more about who you are becoming than about what you are receiving. Because gifts may fill your hands, but only transformation fills your life. That is why I have been teaching you humility when success seemed close, patience when answers seemed delayed, kindness when people were difficult, faith when emotions became unstable. Every lesson has been preparing you for a future your present mind cannot yet fully imagine. Do not despise these quiet seasons. Hidden roots produce visible fruit. Deep rivers flow quietly. The strongest foundations are buried beneath the ground. Everything valuable takes time. So stop believing that slow progress means no progress. Every prayer has been shaping you. Every trial has been strengthening you. Every disappointment has been teaching you where true security is found. Nothing has been wasted. Not one tear. Not one act of obedience. Not one moment you chose faith instead of fear. I have woven every chapter together with purpose. My child, very soon you will notice that your reactions begin to change. The things that once stole your peace will no longer control your heart. The fears that once kept you awake will lose their authority. The voices that once discouraged you will become quieter. Not because life has suddenly become easier, but because my truth has become stronger within you. That is real freedom. Freedom is not the absence of challenges. Freedom is no longer allowing challenges to define your identity. You belong to me, not to fear, not to failure, not to yesterday, not to the opinions of people. You belong to the one who calls stars by name and still knows every detail of your heart. Walk with that confidence. Walk with quiet assurance. Walk knowing that heaven has not forgotten your address. My favor knows exactly where to find you. My timing never arrives too early. It never arrives too late. And when my appointed moment comes, no human opposition can prevent what I have already established. No delay can cancel it. No mistake can erase it. No darkness can overcome it. Because what I begin, I always complete. So keep your heart open. Keep your hands surrendered. Keep your eyes fixed on me. For what happens after this message will not simply surprise you. It will become the moment you realize that I was preparing this answer long before you ever knew how to ask for it. My beloved child, before this moment comes to an end, I want you to remember something that will remain with you long after these words have faded. Your future has never depended on luck. It has never depended on perfect timing created by people. It has never depended on whether everyone believed in you. Your future has always rested safely in my hands. There were days when you believed you had missed your opportunity. Moments when regret whispered, if only you had chosen differently. If only you had started sooner. If only you had been stronger. But I am not limited by your yesterday. I am the redeemer of lost years. I know how to rebuild what seemed impossible to recover. I know how to bring beauty from ashes, strength from weakness, wisdom from failure, and purpose from pain. Nothing that has happened in your life has surprised me. I was with you before the disappointment. I remained beside you during the disappointment, and I will still be with you after the victory. Never mistake my silence for absence. Even when you could not hear me, I was arranging tomorrow. Even when nothing appeared to move, I was moving hearts you had never met, opening conversations you had never heard, preparing opportunities you never imagined, clearing roads you did not know were blocked. This is why I ask you not to become discouraged by what you see today. Your eyes can only observe the present. Mine already sees the completed story. So stop carrying tomorrow as though everything depends on your strength. You were never created to carry the weight of the future alone. Leave tomorrow with me. Live faithfully today. Love generously today. Forgive completely today. Pray sincerely today. Trust deeply today. Every faithful step becomes part of the miracle I am building. My child, very soon you will discover that what you once called delay was actually divine preparation. The waiting strengthened your faith. The silence sharpened your hearing. The closed doors protected your purpose. The unexpected endings made room for greater beginnings. One day you will look back without bitterness, without confusion, without regret. Instead, your heart will overflow with gratitude because you will finally see how perfectly every season fit together. Then you will understand that I never abandoned you. I was writing a testimony far greater than you could have imagined. So keep walking, keep believing, keep choosing hope, keep listening for my voice. I have not finished writing your story. The chapter ahead carries more joy than fear, more peace than confusion, more purpose than uncertainty. And when everything unfolds, you will know beyond every doubt that I was faithful through every single step. My beloved child, If these words have reached your heart today, do not allow them to remain only as something you listen to. Carry them with you. Return to them whenever fear tries to speak louder than faith. Remember that my promises do not lose their power simply because circumstances become difficult. Before you leave, take a quiet moment with me. Close your eyes if you can. Take one slow breath and simply whisper, "Father, I trust your timing. Lead me wherever you want me to go." That simple prayer reaches my heart more than you know. If this message encouraged your spirit, let it become a light for someone else who may be waiting for hope today. Share this message with someone who needs to remember that heaven has not forgotten them. And if you would like to stand in faith with this message, write these simple words in the comments. Lord, I trust your plan. Let that not be just a comment, but a declaration from your heart. May every time you return here, your faith become stronger, your peace become deeper, and your confidence in my promises grow greater than your fears. Until we meet again, keep your eyes on me rather than your circumstances. Keep your heart open. Keep walking by faith, because this is not the end of your story. It is only the beginning of everything I have been preparing for you. I am with you. I have gone before you, and I will never leave you.